Assalamu alaikum, grade 5. Welcome again to the science session. Today, inshallah, we're gonna start chapter number 6, and this is the end of your book. And this is chapter talking about the Earth and space, and this is especially talking about the astronomy. And lesson number 1 in this chapter, or the title for today, how does Earth move? How the Earth move in the space to make the day and night and the season in the Earth. You can watch this video that you can observe how the shadow of the window that movement around 2 hours. And to answer the big question, the Earth is the in movement or the Sun in movement?
How can shadows change over time? Observe the shadow. Notice how it changes over 2 hours.
So, to answer the question, what is the in movement, the Earth or the Sun, or the Earth movement around the Sun, or the Sun movement in around the Earth? Today, inshallah, we're gonna to answer this question to how the Earth make a revolution and rotation. So, before to knowing the learning objectives for today, how does Earth move and how the make the day and night? So you can watch the different position of the Earth of the Sun around the day. The series of photos show the Sun over the course of 24 hours from the same spot. This midnight sun is an occurrence only in the polar regions, in the North Polar or South Polar. And this is picture describing or collecting the photos to describe the position of the sun around the day or around the 24 hours. The learning objectives today, I will know how to demonstrate that Earth rotates on its axis, causing the day-night cycle and the overall movement of the sun across the sky, or the revolution of the Earth around the sun in the same orbit. You can watch this video that explaining how the Earth make a movement around the sun. So, in this video, you can talk about the movement of the Earth around itself or around its axis. Time zone. What's the meaning of time zone or time zone map? This is conversation between those guys that's talking about the time zone and the different time in different places between San Diego, Dallas, and Texas, and California. You can read it. After read it, you can watch this is map and describing the different time in different places between San Diego, California, and Dallas, and Texas, and the difference between them: 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours. And this is called time zones. And this is due to the Earth rotation and revolution. So we should know what's the meaning of the Earth rotation and revolution, and what the causes of the day, night, and the season on Earth. The Earth and the Sun. So you can watch this is picture that's describing the different position of the sun due to the day or through the 24 hours. So big question here, the same big question I asked you in the beginning of this lesson, who is in movement, sun or the earth? So the relation between the earth and the sun, that's describing the difference people can think about the relation between them. In the beginning or in the ancient people, Greek, something like people in the Greek or in the past of some time, that's describing the relation between the earth and the sun, and watching that people that cannot have any telescopes or technology for exploring the space. So when any people can watching this picture that talk about the movement of the sun. So the sun is the movement in this picture, or in the ancient people that's talking about the sun that rotate or movement around the earth. But now, after that, exploring the space by some technology and telescopes, no, the earth is the movement around the sun, and the sun is the center of the solar system. So you can make a comparison between the ancient people or then and now and both. In the ancient people, that the sun moves around the earth. Why? Because we can watch this picture and show the movement of the sun across of the sky. But now, after the exploring the space by some technology and going the space and other planets, Earth and other planets movement in the same orbits around the sun. But the both between them, the sun orbits to move in the sky. You can write this in your book, page number 265, and after that you can continue. Telescope that's covering in actually 6009, that's you're discovering the telescope, and that's helping the astronauts to exploring the space and other planets and exploring the relation between the sun and earth. Now we can moving to the step number one or points number one in this lesson, and this is talking about the earth rotation. What's the meaning of earth rotation? Earth rotation means the movement of earth around itself or around this is line, and this is a measuring line between the north pole to the south pole, that's called axis. So earth axis is a measuring line around which earth rotates, and the rotation of the earth can make the day and night in 24 hours. So earth completes one rotation in about 24 hours, and earth rotates from what from east to west or opposite direction? Yes, opposite direction. So the earth rotates from west to east. You can watch this video that's describing and explaining the earth rotation around itself and around its axis.
The axis of the Earth is an imaginary line on which the Earth rotates. It links up the two poles. Both the axis and the Earth are tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees during a revolution. The tilting of the axis results in direct sunlight falling on different places during different seasons. This causes variations in the duration of days, nights, and seasons. Relationship between the location of the overhead sun and the seasons. Similarly, the revolution of the Earth and the tilting of the axis results in different angle of the sun during different periods. When the sun is directly overhead, We call this the overhead sun.
So this is video that's explaining the Earth rotation, and that's causing the day and night and 24 hours to one rotation of Earth around its axis. The point number 2 today is the Earth revolution, how the Earth revolves around the Sun. What's the meaning of Earth revolution? Earth revolution is the movement of Earth around the Sun in the same orbit or a specific orbit called the oval orbit. That's shape of the orbit, not circle but oval orbit. And the movement of the Sun around the Earth around the Sun, it's called revolve or revolution. And that's take one revolution of the Earth around the Sun 12 months, and this is causes 4 seasons in the year, and this is take 364 days, and each 4 years that's complete the 365 days. Again, Earth revolution, that's meaning the movement of Earth around the Sun in the same or specific orbit, oval orbit, and that's take 12 months for one revolution, and 1 year that's equal 364 and half, that's for one revolution. Season that's describing the sum or each 4 months in our planet Earth, that's changing the climate on Earth and temperature, that's due to the changing the season. So we have 4 seasons: spring and summer, fall and winter. What causes this is season? That's caused by the revolution of the Earth around the Sun in the same orbit, and you can see the difference in the movements of Earth around the Sun and the axis. So you can watching in the summer the southern hemisphere that's nearly to the Sun, so that causes the hot climate or hot weathering, and in the winter that's in the eastern that causes northern hemisphere that's nearly the Sun in the winter, and that causes the cold climate or cold conditions in the Earth. So we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter, that's caused by the Earth revolution, and you can watch that video that's describing the season on Earth.
You know that Earth orbits the Sun, right? And that it takes a full year for our planet to complete its orbit. Earth also rotates like a slightly tilted spinning top. Earth remains tilted in the same direction all year round as we orbit the Sun. But that means the Sun's light shines differently on Earth at different times of the year. Let's look at Earth when it's winter in the northern hemisphere. Observe how the North Pole tips away from the Sun. This means that sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere at a shallow angle for a short period of time. This is why winter weather is generally cool, with short days and long nights. As Earth orbits the Sun, we move towards spring in the northern hemisphere. Now Earth is tilted neither toward nor away from the Sun, as day and night are about equal in length. As we make our way to the summer months, notice that Earth is still tilted in the same direction, only now on the other side of our orbit. The North Pole is tipping toward the Sun. Sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere more directly, and the Sun stays in the sky for a longer time. Compared to winter, summer days are warmer and the sun stays in the sky much longer. Notice too that while it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter in the southern hemisphere. Because of Earth's tilt, the seasons are reversed. We observed how Earth's tilt creates the different seasons throughout the year. How does this affect life? Plant life and other photosynthesizers, we call them primary producers, depend on sunlight. They respond to the changes in the seasons. Earth-orbiting satellites measure the amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by these primary producers. Bright regions on this map show where they devour the most carbon dioxide, turning light from the sun into oxygen and natural sugars. In spring, when sunshine strikes the cold waters of the North Pacific, productivity skyrockets. Phytoplankton and other microscopic photosynthesizers form the base of the ocean food web, and all ocean life responds to changes in the seasons. On land, forests grow green during the spring, brightening the continents. During winter, continents in this view turn dark from a lack of photosynthesis.
Okay, so this is video that's talking about or explaining how the Earth rotation around revolution around the sun, and that can make the season and the effects of those seasons in our ecosystem and our lives in the planet Earth. So rotation and revolution, and can make a summary for all what we're talking about today. And this is two big phenomena in the movement of Earth and causes the day and night and season on Earth. So with the use of the telescope in the early 1600s, scientists were able to prove that the center of the solar system is the sun. In ancient, the center of solar system Earth, and the sun rotated around the sun. The sun rotated around the Earth, and this is false. And the scientists proved that the center of the solar system is the sun. And Earth and other planets of solar system that rotate around that, and imaginary lines called what? This is line. Imaginary lines that the planet rotates around it called axis. And to complete each one rotation from west to east in about 24 hours on Earth. And orbit is the path an object takes to revolves around a star, planet or moon. So the planet or moon or any objects that revolve around the sun in the orbit. So the orbit is the path an object take as to it revolves around a star, planet or moon. Earth revolution around the sun falls in elliptical path or oval shape, lasts for 2 or 12 months, that's equal 1 year and equal 365 days or 64 days and 64 days and quarter. Earth's tilts affect how much sunlight part of Earth reserve, and this is effects for climates and the seasons. So you can show the tilt of the Earth by his axis and the rotated of the sun of the Earth around its axis, a revolution around the sun, and this is affect the climate and the season. You can watch this video, and that can make a summary for all what we're talking about today. And this is lesson number 1 in this chapter, and talking about the movements of the Earth in the space. Okay, so this is the end of this lesson, and I hope you understand what I said. And today, the big points you can focus on it: the rotation and revolution of the Earth that causes the day and night and the seasons. I hope you understand, and please answer the worksheets and study well. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.